All right. This is going to be the most fun you've had with your clothes on, so get ready. If everybody can get some room, I think I want to do two little quick exercises for us. So if you want to stand up, it's called expelling the venom. So this will change the energy and kind of get us more harmonized with what's going on with the waves. So I'll demonstrate it, then we'll do it. So you'll just take the discord or whatever's going on, and you'll use your hands and you'll blow it out. We'll do it 3 times. And then one last slow one. Great. And then do this. All right. And then one last one. This is called cooling the fire of the heart. So it's a Qigong one. And you'll put your mouth closed. You'll only breathe in and out through your nose. And your tongue will be at the roof of your mouth. So it goes like this. And you want to match the inhale with the exhale with the movement of your arms. So you'll inhale with knees bent through the nose and exhale. A few more times. And exhale. 2 more. And exhale. 1 more. Great, have a seat. How do you feel? Better? Yeah. So, I kind of got on this path years ago. Always been fairly psychic, had some relatives who were psychic, grandma was psychic, and all this stuff. And I made millions of dollars with a company I had, and one day I lost all that. And then my mom died, my grandma died, my aunt died, my fiance broke up with me, all within like 2 weeks. And I was stuck on Hawaii. And it was a really challenging time. And these kahuna found me. And it's through a guy I knew. And he's like, hey, I want to help you out, get you back on your feet. So I started learning all this stuff. And 2 of the biggest things I learned from them was, one, to take 100% responsibility for everything in your life. And it's really a big concept, and I could probably teach it for 6 hours. But if you take 100% responsibility for everything in your life, there's no denying, there's no blaming, and it's all about you, making things happen, taking responsibility, being accountable. So that was a really big wake-up call. The other part was learning about the subconscious. The subconscious drives us. It brings in good things into our life. Things we're focused on, it brings those in too. And then there's the higher self, and then also the conscious mind. So that got me involved in hypnosis. I became a master hypnotist. And all learning, change, and behavior is brought about on the subconscious level. So it's really hard to say lose weight or stop smoking or change a behavior if you've just got your willpower, if you've just got your conscious mind on it. But if you get your unconscious involved, then things are a lot easier. So what happens is your guard goes down, and through hypnosis and various other modalities, you can influence people at a deeper level so that they can get that learned change behavior on that level and then make a change. So those were 2 of the biggest things that I learned from them. Then I had quite a few opportunities working as national sales manager for companies. I've got a little handout for you there. The first one was I worked with a guy. He's worth about $400 million. And he was one of my mentors, and a really great guy. Very prosperous and abundant. Learned a ton from him. And 2 of the biggest learnings I learned from him was... the first one was, he said, you need to read. You need to read to learn. And again, with some of the hypnosis or subconscious stuff, when we read, we actually usually become the character in what we're reading, the hero. So he would always read, biographies of successful people and His theory, and what I'm going to relay to you, is a smart man learns from his mistakes, but a wise man learns from the mistakes of others. So if you're able to read, you can get, all these lessons that you don't have to go through. But if they come up, you've kind of got an idea of what can be possible. So he told me to read. And the other thing he did was he always worked problems and goals backwards. So what I noticed what he would do is he would, from where he would go into the future and he would figure out the solution or see it as solved. And then he would look back to where he was and see the steps that he took to get to the solution. And then he'd take that information and go back to where he was and have that knowledge. He basically time traveled. Would that be helpful for you guys to know? Okay, great. We'll talk about that in a bit. So I had another opportunity. I worked for another guy that was worth $500 million. This guy was a self-made man. He gave to all these charities. Just an amazing person. Met him in Hawaii. He had 4 houses on Maui. Extremely wealthy and smart. He had been a spy for the U.S. years ago. He knows like 7 languages. He married a beauty queen from Europe. Just, anything he touched turned to gold. Really, really great guy. And he taught me a few things too. Some of the things he taught me was you've got to relax. You've got to be calm. If you can have a daily stress reduction routine. So for people to have a daily stress reduction routine, like exercise, yoga, meditation, a spiritual practice, he says you need to do it daily. And is there any other type of stress reduction routines you guys would recommend for people to do? Meditate, yeah, great. Walking is perfect for that. Gardening, that's great, yeah. Yeah, that always works. That's a good one. Yeah, that's great. Good deal. Yeah, so I'm going to show you a routine here in a second. And so one thing he taught me is it's called blocking time. That's what I knew it as. And when I got into NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, people called this fancy thing called segmented timing, or increments. Segment intending. So what you do is you take a set time and you focus only on one thing. So no phone, no TV, nothing turned on, just a 15-minute block, and you put all your energy towards that. And you then can accomplish a lot more. And what happens is what I found doing it, and I've seen a lot of wealthy people do this, is they'll spend blocks of time on certain things, and then they'll go do what they want. Like if they have a kids' Boy Scout meeting or whatever, they'll just block that out and then go do that so they can, So I don't know if you've heard this saying that time expands, or work expands to the time allotted. So that's kind of the concept. So what I found is I would do it for 15 minutes, but I'd end up doing it for 30 because I got into it and I could push that other thing back. So then that made more time and I got a ton more done. So segment intending, really big concept. Anyone already get that one down? Okay. So the biggest thing I found with coaching with clients is they come to me a lot with issues of self-sabotage. They know what to do, they're just not doing it. So they come to me and I help them with that sort of thing. So I've got a little practice I'd like us to do, and it's called visual squash. Do I have a volunteer that has maybe some self-sabotage they'd like to get rid of? Colin, get up here. Yeah.
I got a lot of it.
Haha. Not anymore. Come on over here. All right, so we'll actually need both your hands free for this one. Yeah. All right. So, Colin, I'll have you stand in front like this and then put your palms out cupped like that. This is called visual squash. It's a neuro-linguistic programming technique, very powerful. So in one of the palms, we're going to put your we'll call them negative influences or self-sabotage. So whichever hand you pick is the one we'll go with. Okay, great, great. Okay, so we'll put self-sabotage in there. Is there a certain self-sabotage you have, like around money or business, or what would you say? Okay, money. Okay, perfect. So we'll put that there. And then what other related issues would you have with not having money or blocks to money?
It would be like I'd be in a really good situation.
Okay.
So, like,
Great. You want to keep that
Okay,
cup?
okay,
I'll
gotcha,
call it
okay.
over.
So for me, it would be I'd set myself up for success, and then somehow through like working, I would somehow self-sabotage myself so I'd get out of it. I didn't feel that I was worthy of it. I didn't feel that it was right, and so then I would do behaviors that would kick me out of it. And that happens like pretty much with almost all of my jobs. So like Lifetime, for instance, that was like one of the best ones that I loved, and I self-sabotaged myself out of that because again, I didn't feel something was right. I didn't like it, and then so then my body did the behavior of like going in that direction.
Okay. So let's put undeserving, undeservedness, unworthiness. What other adjectives would you give that issue? We want to fill it up.
Okay, so thoughts of not being smart, thoughts
Perfect.
of really not trusting myself, self-doubt, really huge on kind of letting other people's opinions really. I didn't have self-approval, so approval from others is huge on that one.
Great.
Let's see. What was another big one? I really take so people that I hold really dear to me are people that I put importance on.
Authority.
Authority on. If they go in more of a negative direction, I really take it personal, and then I really dive deep into hurt, and then that really kind of pulls me and sways me into a certain direction because I don't know how to control it.
So valuing the authority figure over your own?
Yes.
Okay, great. That feels pretty full.
Yeah.
So let's work on this one. So what would be the positive opposite? If you didn't have self-sabotage, what would you have?
I would have abundance, I guess.
Yes. Success.
Yes.
Financial success, a lot of it. Confidence, right?
Huge confidence, yeah.
What
Good
else?
Self-esteem.
Yeah.
Let's see. Self-esteem, self-worth.
Yeah.
Trust, no doubt. You kind of just go for it, so you let the feeling happen instead of trying
right.
to be really in my head all the time, going like, I don't know if that's the right decision. I guess that's another self-sabotaging thing that I had was
Yeah,
the
definitely.
voices in my head. So I just dump that in there.
Yeah.
The other side,
He's getting into it, guys.
the other side would definitely be, I guess I could see myself completely changing my social circle.
Right.
So everybody in my social circle would be in that positive energy and that like that happiness. Let's see.
Good. That's pretty full.
Yeah, I can't think of anything. More.
Okay, great. So keep those cupped.
Okay.
Now let's compare them. Do they feel different? Is there a heat? What's going on?
This one feels a lot heavier.
Yeah.
Like my arms like pulling down.
Right.
I don't even know. Yeah, it's like slowly doing this.
Yeah. Nice. So we've got everybody in here that's attuned and awake, so we can get a little weird. So what would this look like if it was a picture? Would it be a blob, a block, an alien? What would you say it looked like?
It's almost like if I'm looking at it right now, I kind of get like glimpses of like this huge kind of like morphing black kind of blobish thing. That's
Okay.
like going
Okay.
around like
Great.
this.
So keep that one cupped. We don't want to move that one. So
Okay.
put
Oh,
it back in
right.
there.
Right.
Great. Now what would that? Yeah, good. So what would be in there? That's the good one.
Well, for one, it's not heavy at all.
Yeah.
The second thing is that like it's like a lot of light, and
Yeah.
it's not morphing around as much. It's a lot, I guess, more constructive.
Stable.
Yeah, it's like constructive.
Okay.
I would almost refer it to like last night I was really getting into Mother Earth, and I could feel kind of like a singular ball that I was pulling energy from out of, and that's kind of what I'm seeing with this.
Great.
That makes sense.
Yeah. See how his hands are different heights too.
Whoa. Okay. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
the thing.
And then, so we want to get all his senses involved. That's really the change we're getting. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to pretend there's these giant rubber bands around your wrists that'll come together, that'll bring your hands together. So right now, how do they feel? Do they want to come together?
No.
Right.
No, this one really wants to. Like,
So that's the
this one
resistance.
doesn't want to.
Right? So what would be the first resource you need inside of you that'll bring those palms together in a prayer position?
I guess accepting. would be
Yeah,
one.
that's a big one.
Huge one.
See how it moved a little bit? What
Um,
else?
Trusting myself.
Trusting yourself.
That's a big one.
Great.
No self-doubt.
Yeah.
knowing that I am worthy.
You are.
And not hitting my, and not
Definitely
hurting
worthy.
myself with that.
And deserving, right?
Yes. I love myself.
Yeah.
That is a huge one for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great one.
Yeah.
That vibration of love and gratitude really brings the money in.
I guess another thing I'd like to say is I love to teach and I love to give in that way, and so
Yeah.
I love being able to see people grow off of just my knowledge, and it's not even like from coming from an ego thing. It's like I like purely solely enjoy watching someone else kind of rise up and be able to get more conscious and be able to get kind of that awakeness and that ability off of me not having, I guess, all this negative like these connotations to it.
Right. Beautiful. See how they're almost together? It's working. Now, what is the one last thing you need that'll slam your hands together and allow you to have the financial abundance you want?
Is that actually just abundance in itself? Abundance
Boom.
mindset?
Bring them together. Prayer position. Then cross your heart with your palm over your palm. And then close your eyes and 8 deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth. And just let the sorting out process to happen. And you may feel some gurgling going on, some changes in your body. You may feel a shift emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually. So what we're doing is we're really changing things at even cellular level, which is amazing stuff. Yeah. you're burning up with lots of money. You've got the fire. You know what to do. You know how to make money. You know how to attract money. You know how to serve people. That's what this is really about. Being of service. Abundant, prosperous. Doing great. Let me know when you did 8. Great. Come back to now, fully alert and wide awake. Shake your hands. What'd you have for breakfast? You haven't yet. Okay, great. All right.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
That bunch of water, like maybe that much of a hash brown.
Okay. So when you think about your situation with money, how has it changed for the positive?
So, how does it change for the positive? Like, I don't know. I feel like my head's a lot more clear on the kind of the direction that I want to. I guess I want to go, and I guess I don't have. I guess a fear was a very large factor of it that I was attaching to it, saying like, oh, I don't know. Like again, if I guess that kind of comes into like the self doubt. But now I'm like, I don't know. It's like clear. I kind of know the direction that I want to go in, and I guess in a way I kind of feel. I guess I did really feel a shift. It was more of like a. It was almost kind of like I was looking down on myself for the self-sabotage and not being able to make that money. And from now, it's more of like, I don't have that push anymore. It's just kind of like natural. And then I'm, I guess, allowed to see the other side by doing that instead of trying to like push.
Yeah. Excellent work. So we're almost done. So clarity is potential power, but action is the real power. So for you, what would be 3 things you'll do once you get back to Michigan? What are 3 action plans you could take now that you have this more confident you?
So the first thing I would do is actually like, not like a blueprint, but a timeline of kind of like my, not an expectation, but what I'd kind of like to happen or what I'd like to see happen. The second thing is that part of the self-sabotaging, I have a YouTube channel and I made about like 5 videos and then I just stopped. And I think that was part of the self-sabotage. And for me, social media and like YouTube is really, really big for me because I kind of understand that the next generations are really into that. And so that's kind of the route that I would like to really go to, I guess, expand that knowledge, and that include with the timeline. And I think another thing would be the social circle. That actually just really popped into my head. So I really need to change the friend group that I have. And because I came from such a negative kind of connotation, I kept bringing negative people into my life or attracting them. And so now that I've been able to flip it, I feel like I'm going to be able to do the exact opposite.
Excellent. So here's the deal. Goals without deadlines are dreams, so we need deadlines.
I need a deadline.
So the first goal you mentioned was...
Okay, so I guess my first goal would be to get back into YouTube. That'd be really, really big for me.
What's your deadline to get that first video on YouTube?
I'd give it 2 days after I get off the ship. So when I get to my house, I give it about 2 days because I have
24th.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say the 24th.
Perfect. And then finding new friends. Could you meet them at meetups, or what could you do to find like-minded individuals?
Yeah. So speaking of that, there's an app that I used to have in Michigan. I think it was like local. I don't remember the exact name of the app, but it's like local. It might actually be local hookups. And it does it. They have a bunch of different groups, and they have different stations, or not stations, but like buildings that you can go to and meet these people. And so I think that's a really good way to look into that.
Excellent.
That, and I also think that the social media also might pull some people in.
Perfect.
But for me, I'm going to go out of my way to try to also find people. That's the big thing for me.
Excellent. What about a deadline for that?
I think that might take a little longer, so I might give
That's
that 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay. I want a full report.
Okay, we'll do.
Give it up for Colin, guys. Good job, man. You bet. Great. All right, I think we've got time. I want everybody to try that real quick. Let's everybody stand up. Let's just do it. Let's knock it out. Does everybody have an issue they want to clear? No. Right? So take one in your right or left hand. We're going to do the speed version. Make sure your hands are cupped, just like Colin did. And go ahead and put that issue in there. And load it up. Yeah, you can do it you can sit down. So you can do it with all the issues in there. And then the other hand, you put the positive opposite. Does everybody have an issue and the positive opposite? Let me hear a hell yeah. Come on! Yeah. all right. Now we're going to figure out the resources you need in order to bring your hands together and have the positive opposite happen. Maybe it's love, forgiveness, joy, happiness, peace, respect, honor, courage, faith, confidence, lots of confidence. Any other resources you need, add it now. Feel the change happening inside you. And then what's the one last thing that'll bring your hands together? Is it action? Is it love? Is it more confidence? Is it just doing it? Great. Bring your hands together in the prayer position. Palm over your heart. Close your eyes and take 8 deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. Allow this process to really change you. You're a different person walking off this boat. All the incredible lectures and experiences you've had, the friends you made. More confident, more centered, more you, more authentically you. Bring in the love. Angels fill these people with love, light, and healing at the deepest level. Raising your frequency and vibration. Allowing yourself to achieve the goals you want. Giving yourself permission. Great. Super. All right, come back to now, fully alert and wide awake. Great, how'd you guys do? Let's hear it. Let's take a few. You pass it. Colin, you pass that to Greg. You turn it on.
Just a quick question.
Wow.
When is that okay?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Just a quick question. When we had our hands cupped, and I was looking around, some people's right hand was higher than their other one. What does that mean?
Yeah. So it's real energy in there, and either positive or negative. Sometimes the positive can be a little heavier, which is odd, but sometimes it can. And it's the biological, psychological whole effect where you've got something real there, and it's taking effect.
Bad stuff in my right hand instead of left hand. Long toes.
Good. Yeah. Yeah, it just depends either way. It works very effectively. Anybody else want to share anything? Great. So another thing I learned working with this this amazing gentleman that was half a billionaire, he said, if you want to do something, make it a study. If you want to be wealthy, study wealthy people. If you want to be a doctor, take the school, but do extra. He said that if you read just 10 books in your field, you'll know more than 80% of those people in that field. And I found that to be very true. And you guys are committed here both financially and time-wise. So, my hat's off to you. It's really, really awesome. So there was a book, once I kind of regrouped and started getting back into the world 20 years ago, or 18 years ago, called The Four Agreements. Has anybody read that Four Agreements? Hey, all right, great. Awesome. So what are the Four Agreements? Does anybody know? Throw one out. Be impeccable with your word. So, working with a lot of clients, that has a little more meaning. It seems like, the people around us, sometimes they don't always keep their word. I was involved in real estate, on a bunch of real estate properties. And sometimes you met people that you had heard that, they didn't have integrity. But you thought, well, if they're doing business with me, maybe that'll be different. That's never the case. If you hear somebody doesn't have integrity, be warned. So sometimes they'll keep their word when it's convenient, but not when it's inconvenient. So keeping your word is really a big deal. If you can keep your word, it's great. What's another one in that Four Agreements? Don't assume. We assume so much, right? We just, I remember working as a national sales manager, and people would come into me and say this problem, whatever, and a client would call and have the same problem, and it was because of them, and it was this back and forth stuff. And there was always two sides to the story. You can't just jump ahead and automatically give a judgment on it. You gotta get all the facts first. That's what I've always found to be the case. Always do your best is another one. And I think what happens with entrepreneurs and spiritual people like us is we do want to do our best, but there's a shiny ball over here, so all of a sudden we go over there and we kind of forget about this here. And you just got to stay focused. And there'll always be shiny balls and distractions and all this stuff going on. You just got to stay focused. And I think that's the key to wealth. And these guys taught me that. And you really got to use that laser beam focus. Now, you can have 2 or 3 projects going. I don't think that's an issue. But if you have more than 3, it's kind of an issue. The most successful people give 100% to one thing, 1 or 2 things, And then the fourth one they had in the agreement, yeah, I wish we could do that. Our ego says, it is personal. We're going to get even. That bastard can't get away with this. That's our ego. It's tough. But if you take 100% responsibility for things in your life, there's no one to blame. And that's really a good feeling, Like the seasickness here we're having, or I'm having, All right. So how was that exercise? Did you guys like the visual squash? Okay, good. I've got another one for you. You're going to love it. So this was a technique I learned. I kind of fell into it. I was a salesperson going toe-to-toe with people as far as direct sales, working at a big company selling corporate accounts, and it just came to me. I want to share it with you. How many people are in sales or... Okay, great. A lot of people. Perfect. You love this. So, so this one, I call it the I love you technique. So love is the answer, and it's a vibration that people can feel. And a lot of my sales were done over the phone, and they couldn't see my face, but they can feel the smile and the energy. So I would say in my head before I would get them on the phone, is I love you. And it's not in a romantic, sexual way. It's I love you like you love a puppy, or you love your brother or sister, or something like that. It's it's just this vibration of pure love, joy to be around, that sort of thing. So I started saying it in my head before I got on the phone. Get them on the phone, and I would kind of say it when I could and still think. And all of a sudden, I noticed my sales shot through the roof, like off the charts, like leading the whole company out of 466 people. Big. And then all of a sudden they would tell me, hey, you know what? I can't use your service, but my brother-in-law could. Here's his number, and I'll call him for you. And they would go out of their way to help me. And I was just doing my thing, you know. And, if they didn't buy, they knew somebody or said, hey, call this guy or call the corporate guy or whatever, just really out of their way. So another way you could do it, too, is you could write it on a piece of paper and just tap at it or look at it when you're talking to them. Now, you don't want to say it out loud to them, so that's a whole other problem stuff, but, if you can, yeah, right? So if you can do that, that vibration is what carries through, and it's really amazing. I think you're going to like that. So I want to do something called cutting chords. You guys ever heard of cord cutting? I'm sure you have. I'm going to need a volunteer for that. Come on up. Come on down. You're the next contestant on The Price is Right.
Come on up, Carolyn.
Hello. Great. All right, so this is good. We can cut cords with one of your issues, like if it's money, financial, or any other sabotage we didn't. Do you have anything in mind?
I have a relationship cord I'd like to
Okay,
cut.
we can do that. That's perfect. All right. So I want you to picture, I'm assuming him.
Yes.
We want to picture him about 10 feet from you. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the worst, 1 being you don't really give a shit about whatever happens, where would you say the issue is?
I'm at like a 5.
Okay. So let's bring him 5 feet closer. Where would it be at now?
8.
Okay, that's what we want.
Yeah.
All right. So we want to go ahead and we'll start cutting cords here in a second. So when I study with the Hawaiians, they have these, they talk about these aka cords, which means red cords, but they're really thin. And they connect to us from head to toe. And if we've had a relationship with a person, front to back and everything. Now, it doesn't cut the love cord, which is not what we're cutting. That's a whole other process. This just gets rid of the static, the insecurities, stuff that keeps us hooked in, and all the stuff that doesn't serve us. It's basically the lower level vibration BS. We're going to get rid of that. She's going to feel better. All right. You're ready to do this, right?
I am.
Okay.
I am.
So anytime we think about a person, place, or thing, we connect with them through this cord, Saka cord. So if I say Paris, France, you guys think of the Eiffel Tower or something, you're connecting to that. That's how you get that image and all that, all right? So her relationship she's had for years, right, with this individual, there's a ton of cords. They look like braids, like cables that hold on bridges, that, head to toe. So she's going to feel a lot better when we get this done. All right. So we're going to go ahead and imagine those cords connecting you. And we're going to have Archangel Michael come in and cut these cords from head to toe, front to back, and just get them off of her. All right, so you ready?
I'm ready.
Great. So we'll have Archangel Michael come in. He's starting to cut the front of you, the back. He's removing them off your chakras, off your ears, eyes, nose, throat, everything. They're just falling to the ground. Now, these cords are hollow and empty, so they just fall to the ground. And he's still going. Great. Have him do one more round. Right off the back of your heart. And then we'll have him remove any daggers, any curses, anything your name was said in vain, negative. Anything negative. Great. You're doing great. Super. Now, the ocean's to the left of us. I just want you to kick and move all those cords into the ocean. Yeah. And get rid of that stuff. Super. Yeah, really get them. All right. Super. All right. So now we're going to see this individual with his cords, and we're going to pretend God's behind him as the sun, and we're going to see him turn and go up to God. Yeah, that feels better. Great. All right, now we're going to see God's love, light, and healing over you like a spotlight, filling you with love, forgiving yourself, forgiving others, helping you heal, helping your heart, letting go of that, knowing that you're stronger, smarter, and better for the experience. That's right, great. And any other resources you need from God, you just tell us and we'll get it added.
Clarity and guidance.
Yes.
Really easy and effortless.
Yeah. Perfect. Great. And emotional stability,
Trust.
harmonizing everything, whole process, building you up on the inside, loving yourself, knowing that we're all doing the best we can. Great. Send you a little energy here. Great. Super. And then, any other resources you need? This is the time to ask for them.
Abundance.
Abundance, yeah. Great. Prosperity, all that good stuff. Super. Gonna seal you up. Super. And then come back to now, fully alert and wide awake. What are you gonna have for lunch today? Yeah.
Who knows?
Okay, perfect. Anything.
Lots of water.
Yeah, I just use that to shift your state. So now that we did all this, you were at like an 8. Where are you at now?
2.
Awesome. Good job. Tell us how you feel.
I feel some relief.
Yeah.
I feel like less
Ecstatic?
clutter.
Less clutter. Good. Yeah, that's exactly what it does. Good job.
Yeah, thank
awesome.
you. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. All right. Now, I've got a couple, based on time, I'm not going to be able to do that with everybody, but if you need some help on cutting something, we can talk afterwards. Here are some other success things that I wanted to share with you. The first one is mentoring. You need a mentor because it saves you time and money, and it helps you avoid the mistakes, which somebody could tell you the answer in 2 seconds and you'd be able to get the answer. It's really the shortcut to wealth and success. You need a good mentor that has integrity, that has done it. There's a lot of coaches out there that get certified in a weekend, and they're a coach, but they don't have the experience to back it up, so they may not be as effective for you. So you want to find somebody that can really help you at a deep level. More businesses have failed not because of lack of money, but because the lack of creativity to get the money. So you need to get more creative about how to help clients, is what I'm saying. So there's a website called Fiverr.com. And how many healers, light workers, psychics do we have in the room? People that help serve people. Okay, great. So coaches and people of that genre come to me and they want more business. And I've been national sales manager, and I know what they're doing and they're not doing. So they come to me and say, hey, I want my business to grow. I built this website, all this stuff. I'm not making any money. Well, it's because you're not talking to enough people. How many people did you talk to last week? Oh, 1. Well, you've got to be 100% sales close ratio to be able to make any money. But if you talk to 200 people, guess what? 3 or 6, you're going to be able to make a living doing it. So you've got to be able to talk to more people. I've got a friend. She can talk to anybody. She's with us now, Sheila. She will tell you how to be a really good communicator. We can go to a grocery store line. She is there. She's talking to everybody. They all know her. It's really amazing. It's just a simple conversation. So a couple tips on this too. You don't persuade people. You don't sell people. You ask them questions. You find out what's wrong with them. And then at the end of that, or you also tell stories. So Jesus was the greatest teacher. He taught by metaphor. That's how people learn. And some people in when he was preaching, some would get it and some wouldn't. Some mocked him and some didn't. That's just the process. It's kind of a numbers game, right? People are going to get it. People are not going to get it. That's okay. You keep moving forward. But the more people you're talking to, the better chances you'll have of really make a living at this if that's something you want to do. So be sure and talk to enough people. The other thing is asking is given. You've got to ask more, right? You need to have your goals written down. There's a 587% greater chance of receiving your goal if you have it written down. And you want a deadline on it. So how it could go, you may want to write this down, is I'm happy and grateful now that I achieved X by February, whatever, 2019. So you've got the deadline and you've got it happy and grateful, okay? Couple other quick things. You need to clear those money blocks. Our subconscious is running us, and if you let it run out of control, you have a life of drama. And you need to retrain our minds and our subconscious to be able to handle and take us the direction we want to go. So be sure and do that. And you can do that through a variety of modalities, which you all may know, EFT, hypnosis, Reiki, whatever. Just get the changes you need. The other thing is a lot of the guys I ran with, they tithe. They give 10% of their winnings to vital charities. They're very generous. I know everybody here is really generous too. And it's really an amazing, amazing thing. It tells the universe, I've got enough. I'm going to give away the rest, so then more will be given to you. Always keep your word. Always keep your word. Gratitude is a vibration too. I want you guys to start doing. So try this. Write down 5 things every day of what you're grateful for. And it can be big or small things, and you're going to love it.